You've probably heard the parable of the shepherd and his 100 sheep, right? It's a classic story, one we think we know inside and out. But today, we're going to look at it from a totally different angle, one you might have never, ever considered before. So here it is, straight from the book of Matthew. And almost every single time we hear it, our attention goes right to that one last sheep. You know, the one that gets searched for, rescued, and then there's this huge celebration when it's brought home. It's a really beautiful picture of redemption. And look, that traditional way of seeing it is powerful for a reason. It really highlights the shepherd's incredible love for each individual, showing us that no one is ever too lost to be found. It's a message that just overflows with hope. But that's only half the story. Let me ask you this. What about the rest of them? The 99 who did exactly what they were supposed to do, who didn't wander off. Their side of the story? Well, it almost never gets told. I mean, really think about it for a second. The shepherd's gone. They're left alone on the mountains, which can be a pretty dangerous place. But they didn't freak out. They didn't scatter. They didn't start questioning where he went. So, what did they do? That's it. That's the answer. 2 simple words. But wow, are they profound. They waited. And inside that one single action is this incredibly deep lesson about faithfulness that we usually just completely miss. Okay, but this wasn't just a passive, sit around and do nothing kind of wait. No way. According to this interpretation, these 99 sheep are actually showing us what faithful obedience looks like. Their waiting was active, it was full of purpose. And this is how that waiting gets broken down into 4 really specific actions. First, they listened. They knew their shepherd so well that they could trust the silence he left behind. Second, they obeyed. They stayed right where he told them to, which you have to admit takes a huge amount of trust. Third, they had faith. And not just that he'd come back, but that he would actually succeed, that he'd find the one who was lost. And finally, they waited, with this real sense of longing, almost like they couldn't wait for their family to be whole again. So you see, this parable isn't just about one lost sheep. It's actually a picture of an entire community. And in that community, well, we all play different roles at different times in our lives. And you can see these 2 roles laid out so clearly here. Sometimes, yeah, we are the one. We're the one who's far from God, the one who needs to be found and carried home. But, a lot of the time, we find ourselves as part of the 99. And in those seasons, our job is different. Our calling is to stay faithful, to listen, to obey, and to wait with a real purpose for others. But here's a little bit of a warning, something to watch out for. It's so easy for those of us in the flock to get comfortable, to get complacent. We can start celebrating how safe we are and completely forget that the shepherd's job isn't done yet because somebody is still missing. And this right here, this is the ultimate goal. The shepherd's real joy isn't just in keeping the 99 safe, it's in the complete total restoration of the entire flock. The party doesn't really start until every single one is back home. So this brings us to the main takeaway, the big idea here. We're being invited to maybe redefine what faithfulness really looks like. It's not always about big, dramatic journeys or heroic moments. Sometimes true faithfulness is about the quiet, patient, and very active choice to just wait well. So being like the 99 means we're called to be patient, not passive, to be trusting, not careless. It's all about actively listening to his voice, obeying his word, having unshakable faith in his promise, and keeping a heart that is just waiting with hope and love for the family to be whole again. And let's end on this thought, because it's pretty powerful. Real faith is often shown not in the moments we're following, but in the moments we're waiting. It's the trust you hold on to when the shepherd is out of sight, believing in his mission and his promise to return. So the question that leaves us with is this: which role are you playing right now? And how are you being called to live it out?